Yes, welcome our viewers who are watching us from different parts of this great country. Welcome to our ETN TV. This is the only channel that is updating you on daily updates and the happenings from corners of this great country. Today we are privileged to have Morara Kebaso in the house. Remember, Morara Kebaso was attacked on Friday during public participation on Bomas of Kenya for the impeachment of Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua. And today we thank God that is getting better, and we are with him in the studio. Yes, welcome my brother Morara Kebaso. What happened on Friday, sure?
The expectation that we have when we go for public participation is that every person's voice counts and that nobody is disallowed from coming to public participation. But it seems I was unwelcome to the ODM organized event, and that plans had been made much earlier that I'll be attacked, because by the time I'm being attacked, or that signs of being attacked are showing up, I was actually on my chair seated, raising my hand to speak. It's the public that demanded that I speak, but it was not the wish of the MC, the TJ Kajwang, that I speak. So it's now that I'm, going back into memory to see where I actually got it wrong. And I think there were enough red flags that I should have seen that I did not see. And next time, we fall, we rise, we learn. Because right from, I had announced that I'll go for public participation on my Twitter, on my TikTok, on everywhere. And I'd said my position, that my position is that we impeach both the president and the deputy president. And having made this position known, there are people who are uncomfortable with that position. So by the time I got to Bomas at the entrance, I was blocked by the police from going in. But members of the public, gathered around, and there was a huge crowd, and I was allowed finally to go in. When I went in, the GSU prevented the members of the crowd, and I went to Bomas to the door. I was prevented from entering the door. I went to another door, I was still prevented to go through the other door. I went to the third door, I was still prevented. So when I came back to the first door, and I found a high-ranking officer, and I told her, I'd like to go in. I think she's called Kimani or someone. So she told me I can only go in with one other person. So I think that's where my security was compromised. I don't know whether it was intention on the part of the police to compromise it, but I was only allowed to go in with one person, and other people joined me behind. I sat down, then I listened to other people give their views. Then when it got to when I want to make my view, I raised my hand. When I raised my hand, the public pointed at me, the whole of Bomas, but here Morara microphone. But TJ Kajwang refused. He instead pointed at me and said, huyu kijana huyu hata haribu mkutano. So I stood up and said, no, sijakuja kuharibu mkutano, nipe microphone, nitoe maoni. And suddenly some people, all right, Goons to be particular, came from behind the dais, and they've been identified. Most of them are Goons that work for the Honorable TJ Kajwang. Others work for Honorable Beatrice Alachi, and some of them work for George Aladwa. So they came, and when they came, they didn't come to there was no situation they were coming to calm down. It was not chaos and they are coming to intervene. They came to cause the chaos. They came, started moving tables, picked chairs and started throwing at me. I kept calm and sat down even when chairs were being thrown, but when it got serious, I tried to escape. But the exit towards which I was escaping, I found the door closed. So I was cornered. My bodyguard was injured. He could not defend me anymore. So then I was hit by more than 30 metallic chairs. Some members of the public tried to help me by, putting chairs on me so that every other chair that comes just lands on the other chairs. by the grace of God, some people who were on top held my hand and pulled me up from where I was trapped. And an officer who was brave enough to come in, pick me up, and they took me outside. And outside, I was, evacuated from the place. I went to Nairobi Hospital for treatment. But I left the hospital. I went to another hospital when it became public that I was actually at that hospital, because at this time I didn't know what I'm dealing with, and I didn't know how deep the security situation or risk is. So I've been treated. I'm okay. I had head injuries in the back of my head, and I had neck injuries, and one of my legs is also injured.
But they're all tissue injuries. No broken bone.
God is good, and He's still seated on the throne. I'm happy that I'm alive, that I don't have any permanent injury, or I'm not paralyzed. I'm not on a wheelchair. Actually, I'm back in circulation. Si unaniona?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back in circulation.
Karibu. Siti.